Once upon a time, there was a kind and hard-working woodcutter named Pedro. Every day, Pedro would venture into the forest to chop wood to sell and buy food for his family. One day, as Pedro was chopping a tree near a sparkling river, his axe slipped from his hands and fell into the water. He didn't know how to swim and couldn't afford a new axe. With a heavy heart, he sat by the river's edge, pondering his misfortune. As Pedro sat there, a beautiful fairy, shimmering with light, emerged from the river. She gracefully floated toward Pedro and said, "Why do you look so sad, dear woodcutter?" Pedro explained his plight and how he had lost his only axe in the river. The fairy smiled kindly and said, "I will help you." She then dove back into the river, and after a short while, she returned with a shiny golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Pedro shook his head and replied, "No, that is not my axe." The fairy nodded and once again dived into the river. This time she brought back a silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked again. Pedro shook his head once more and said, "No, that is not my axe either." The fairy smiled and dived into the river one last time, bringing back a simple but familiar iron axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. Pedro's face lit up with joy as he exclaimed, "Yes, that is my axe." The fairy was delighted by Pedro's honesty and said, "Because you were truthful, I will give you all 3 axes, the golden one, the silver one, and your iron one." Pedro thanked the fairy with all his heart and returned home with the 3 axes. He sold the golden and silver axes and was able to live a comfortable life with his family. From that day on, Pedro always remembered to be honest, for he knew that honesty is always rewarded in the end.